everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. It's been a while since we've done a build video in The Sims 4, so I thought that's what we would do today. And this build features the new game pack that just came out for The Sims 4. I think it came out on Tuesday the 10th, if I remember correctly. But the new pack is called Realm of Magic. It's basically live out your Harry Potter witch and wizard fantasies. Very magical themed, cauldrons, witches, wizards, wands, magic, owls, like literally everything Harry Potter you could possibly think of. So with the pack, along with all of that fun stuff, came a whole bunch of new build buy objects. So I thought I would sit and build a cute little house for a witch or a wizard. Though I did design this with a witch in mind, because that's just what I planned on playing once I was done building this video. So I just wanted to build a house for her, and oh my god, stained glass. Stained glass windows, stained glass doors. There's other things in this pack that are stained glass that I will show you later. I'm not going to tell you right now because it's kind of cool and I can't wait till they actually show up in the video. But stained glass, ladies and gentlemen, I love the stained glass windows and doors. I love these ones that I'm using here, these like purple and green and pink and everything about it. So this house literally is covered head to toe in stained glass windows and doors by the time we're done. And I didn't really have any kind of direction I was going. Like, you could see I literally just started off with a box, like literally a square box, and then I just kind of go from there. And usually I would delete the terrain stuff that's on the lot, so like all the trees and the bushes and all of that stuff that kind of came on the lot. But I was kind of into it, and I didn't want to delete them, and I thought it'd be more interesting to kind of build around what was on the lot instead of deleting it and just having a blank canvas essentially. And I like the trees that were there, and I end up keeping them. I think, move one of the trees to a different spot at some point. I don't really remember. But yeah, so we're just trying to get the external structure of the house done, and I had to have obviously like a wizard tower, Victorian style kind of situation happening here that goes from the first floor and continues up to the second floor. It was absolutely necessary to put a tower there. It's just, how do you not? And then to put the little witch hat shaped roof on it, like, come on, you can't have a witch and wizard pack and not make a spooky looking Victorian style witch house. Like, you just can't. So that's what I'm doing here, and I love building these kind of little towers and Victorian style houses because they're always so interesting and so intricately detailed and ornate and beautiful. So you can see I'm building what is essentially like a wraparound veranda, and I had to shuffle the house over slightly to make room for it because I obviously was hitting the edge of the lot there. So I moved the house over a tiny bit, and I just put the wraparound veranda around that right side of the house, and I thought about putting a glass roof on the tower there for a second, but I think it just looked really strange, so I'm just picking a roof pattern now that I kind of wanted it to look like kind of shabby and old, like this house is actually hundreds of years old, and some new witch is just moving herself in. So oh my god, okay, these columns, this is a bug that needs to get fixed. So when you place the columns down, you see how they're growing taller than the walls? It's this weird bug that's happening in the game right now since this pack came out. And so you size them back down just by literally changing the color swatch to fix it. But I noticed that sometimes if you leave the lot, when you're actually in gameplay, if you leave the lot and come back, all of the columns on your lot will have grown back again. It's the strangest thing, and so it was really bothering me while I was actually playing to to deal with that. But it was kind of silly at the same time because it was just these massively overgrown columns. But yeah, so now we're just kind of working on the veranda part of it, putting a roof around it, and I think this looked really nice. This is one of my favorite parts of the whole build, is this part, because I love the columns. I love the railings that's on it, that green and black kind of color combination. I think it just ties really well with especially the stained glass windows, because they have that kind of greenish looking stone around the door in those windows, so I think it ties in really well. And we do go in and put in some spandrels around the whole thing too, just to add some more detail to it. And like all of this is from the new Realm of Magic pack. So the spandrels, the columns, the fences, the railings. I tried to use as much as I possibly could from this pack. I didn't obviously use everything, because some of it I either couldn't fit in or it just didn't work with what I was trying to do. So I did try to use as much as I possibly could, and I hope you guys like it. I had a lot of fun building this. I was very, very inspired by old Victorian houses, and like these stained glass windows are just everything. They themselves were a source of inspiration as far as this build goes, with their colors and like textures and everything. I just think they're so pretty, and I love those little windows that are like a quarter circle at the top, if that makes sense, because you can flip them right or left to make side windows for a window in the middle. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to explain. But they're just so versatile, and you can make such cool like window patterns with them. I hope we get more windows like that in the future, because I just think those are so pretty and I love building with them. So yeah, we're just kind of going through and obviously putting stained glass windows absolutely everywhere. Like if there's wall space for them, they're stained glass windows. Like I was not about to use some regular windows on this house. I had to. And I think these are the first stained glass windows we've ever got in this game. So hopefully we see more of these in the future as well, now that they've kind of dialed in how to put them in the game, because they look gorgeous, and it would be nice to have some more of them for more variety in builds with just different colors, textures, patterns, all that fun stuff, because I think it would just really add to that kind of style of building. It's one of my favorite kind of styles of builds to do, are these older Victorian style houses, because there's just so much character to them. But yeah, so now we're going through and putting some lights on. So I switched it to night just so you could see kind of what the lighting ends up looking like. And these little bug looking beetle lights that came with the pack are so cute. So cute. I love them so much. And so we're moving to the interior now. I have this thing where I do the exterior for a while, and then I come to the interior, and then I switch back to the outside, and I can't stay focused on any one thing or any one area for very long. And yeah, so that's a fun little thing about me when it comes to building, is my lack of attention span to stay focused on one section at a time. So I'm just kind of rotating around and looking at the house. I think here I was taking a screenshot of it, and that's why there was just nothing happening there. I was like, oh yeah, it looks so good. Let me get a picture of it real quick, even though I was nowhere near done. But yeah, I'm just kind of putting some exterior details on now. Those old dead rose vines creeping up the side of the house fit really well, and they come in a really nice dark purple color, so it ties in with all of the stained glass windows. I need a counter for how many times I say the word stained glass in this video. But yeah, I'm just taking this little dead rose bush, and I think this is from the Vampires pack. And let me just say, the Realm of Magic pack and the Vampires pack, they go really well together, as far as building and decorating goes, because they have very similar kind of styles to them, that old school creepy, gothic Victorian kind of look. So yeah, I think that's where those plants are from. And I really wanted to use this little I don't even know what you would call this, but it was so cute, but I just couldn't make it work. It didn't really seem to fit anywhere. I tried putting it and then tucking a small little window in, but none of the window styles that were small enough fit with it, and so I ended up just like scrapping it, which was a shame because it's really pretty. If you had maybe a taller wall height, it would have worked better, but because I'm just using the shortest wall height, it wouldn't fit. It looked super strange. And so yeah, I'm just chucking more windows on, and I had to raise them up a little bit because they were clipping into that roof part, and we don't want that because it looks very strange having like windows just growing out of the roof. So I had to raise them up a little bit. Then I'm just throwing more dead vines on the front of it just to give some more character and some more detail onto this house. And I don't know where that other window went. It must have deleted when I was putting something else down, which does happen. It's very strange. This is I think it's the only stained glass window on this house, but I wanted like a small little window on that wall. I didn't have a lot of room to play with because the roof comes up high on that side. But I wanted to put something there instead of just having all that dead space, so I did find that little circular window to put there. And these, I think, came from Get Together? I could be wrong, but I think they did, and I don't end up keeping them because I end up doing something else with that area. And I'll explain that a little bit later, what I ended up doing with that particular side of the house there. But for now, we're just kind of finishing up the outside, putting on a chimney. Obviously, this house needs a real creepy brick rock smokestack looking old school chimney, none of this modern nonsense. So I'm just kind of going through, and I ended up going with this one here because I think it looked the best on the house, and it looked really old and rustic and just seemed to fit really well with the build. I tried other options, but like this is the one. This is the one I ended up going with. So now I'm kind of just checking out the outside, I believe, just seeing if there's anything else I want to do with it, just rotating around, checking out the inside, and it took me a while to figure out actually like what I wanted to do as far as the interior floor plan, because it's not the biggest house in the world. Like, it's pretty small, the downstairs and the upstairs, and there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to fit into it from the pack. So figuring out a floor plan, especially with the stairs I ended up going with, you'll see in a little bit here what I'm talking about, but the stairs obviously made it a little bit more complicated because they ended up taking quite a bit of room. And these planter boxes, I just am shuffling back and forth because I noticed that no matter where I put them, the window behind them isn't centered. Like, it was the weirdest thing. I was like, why, how is that not centered? I don't know. It was really bothering my like obsessive compulsive disorder where everything needs to be symmetrical. But here we are, and oh my god, we finally have configurable stairs. And can I just say, finally, like, you can rotate them, you can put as many landings in as you want, you can switch around the directions that they go. Like, it's incredible. So I toyed around with this for quite some time just to see all the different configurations. But I didn't want it to be too crazy because, like, obviously the more directions and stuff it goes is the more room it kind of ends up taking up. And you can see from the interior, we don't have a whole lot of room, and these stairs as it is take up a lot. So I kept it pretty simple. I didn't want to go too crazy. Maybe at another build where I have a bigger house and more space to work with, I'll do some kind of really elaborate grand staircase or something like that. But for now, this kind of worked with what we had, and also trying to position it in such a way that doesn't like impede on the space that's upstairs, because there's even less room up there than there is downstairs. And the upstairs I knew was going to be the main bedroom and bathroom combination up there, and so downstairs we had to somehow fit a living space, a kitchen, some sort of dining room, and then just have like extra room for, you know, random items and to be able to actually move around. So with this stair setup, it was a little bit interesting, but I think the way it turned out ended up being really cool. So yeah, now I'm just tucking some railings on and fencing around the gaps in the floor upstairs. Now here I'm just kind of like looking at what I've got here and trying to figure out what I want to do, I ended up walling this off and creating kind of like a little nook. And I wanted to just throw a half wall across the bottom, but it wouldn't let me without deleting the stairs. So I kind of just had like this weird little under the stairs nook thing happening. And I wasn't really sure what to do with it because Sims can't really get in that space underneath. At least adult Sims can't. Maybe toddlers can, and even kids. I don't know. I haven't tested that far. Configurable, if I could English. Configurable stairs haven't been in the game that long. They came out with the patch that came right before Realm of Magic release, so I haven't had a chance to play with them lots to see what you can actually do with them like that. But yeah, so I'm trying to just go through, like, I really wanted to use this fireplace that came in Realm of Magic, but again, it's something that took up so much room, and with the layout of the house, it didn't really work anywhere. And I also wanted to put the new cauldron in, but the cauldron is so big, it just, like, it wouldn't fit anywhere, so I was like, oh, whatever, we'll maybe, like, find a spot for it outside, and I didn't actually end up putting one in, and I regret it so bad, because, like, this is a house for a witch, or a wizard, or a spellcaster, as they're called as per this pack. And I was like, why did I not find a spot to put that? Like, I should have. And what I ended up doing was putting it outside, but I built like an addition, I guess is what you could call it, onto the opposite side of the house from where the like wraparound veranda is, I guess. And I wish I would have thought of that when I was actually building this for this video, because the way it turned out looked so cool. So, like, I wish I would have done that, because it ended up looking super cool. But I thought what I would do is I would upload this build as it is in this video to my gallery, and then later on when I went in and changed some things around and added the cauldron area, because I changed a few other things as well. That's one thing about me when it comes to The Sims, is like, I never actually finish builds, because I always think of things to add later, or I change things later, and things get, you know, like, I'm never fully done with a build, ever, unless I stop playing that particular save file where I'm using it, or something like that. A build is never done to me. So I have this build as it is on the gallery, and then I have a version 2 on there as well, in case anybody's interested in seeing what I did, and I'll go into some other things that I changed in the version 2 as well. But right now I thought I would put just like a nice little table with this floating crystal light on it underneath there, just to brighten up that area. And one thing I did notice when I went to playtest this house was that my sim wasn't able to go up the stairs, because somehow that table and lamp conflicts with them being able to go up those stairs. And the fix I found for that is to just pull that table forward a half a square, and then they can use the stairs. So if you do download this house, then just keep that in mind, that you'll have to pull that table forward just a half a square on the grid to be able, or for Sims to be able to go up the stairs. Just a little note. I don't know why that is. Like, how is that even in the way? But, you know, Sims logic, whatever. It's the same logic that Sims has had for years, where if a plate is in the way of a door, they won't go through the door because a plate is on the floor in the way. Like, it's that kind of Sims logic. So I'm still just working out what I want to do with the layout, and I had originally put the kitchen on this side, but then I was like, well, that is the biggest portion of this room, and so that should probably be set aside for living and dining. So I tucked the kitchen into this area instead, underneath this great big stained glass window, because I mean, honestly, like, a kitchen doesn't need to be massive in The Sims. They need a fridge, they need a stove, and they need at least one tile of open counter space to be able to cook things on. That's really it. And like a sink, honestly. So I put it into this small little area here, just a small row of cupboards and counters. I put the fridge and the stove next to each other on the opposite little brick wall there, and all of these counters and the fridge and the stove are new from Realm of Magic as well. And they're really, really, really cute and like super old school, like really ornate and detailed, and the colors that they come in are really pretty. And speaking of colors, I just wanted to say, I know this probably looks like it's like a lot of white, like an aggressive amount of white tones I'm doing in this downstairs area, and you'd be right to think that. And I don't really know why. I was just feeling like a really white, vibrant, like clean and crisp color palette for this lower part of the house. And I think the reason for that is because I wanted the pop of color to be from all of the stained glass windows. So I kept everything else really bright and clean and neutral because I really just wanted that purple and those greens and those pinks from the stained glass to be the color in the room, if that makes sense. And honestly, I really like how it turned out. If you, like, feel free to change it if you ever decide to put this house in your own game and play with it. Feel free to recolor, like, to your heart's content. It's totally fine. I understand everyone has their own aesthetic for what they like in their Sims builds and all the colors they like to use, so, like, you know, go hard. This is just what I was feeling as I was building it. This is just kind of how it played out as I was going, and I really do like how it turned out. So I'm just kind of going through and look at that fridge. Look how cute that fridge is. It's so adorable. Oh, it's so cute. And like the stove is just so like old school vintage looking. I love it so much. So I'm kind of just figuring out the rest of the house right now, and then I saw this new dining room table and I really, really, really wanted to use it because it's so pretty, the glass in it, the chairs, and I really wanted to use it, but then I was like, I literally have no room for like any kind of living area, couch, chair situation. Like literally this dining table takes up all of the space on that side, so I had to scrap it, but I set it up just to kind of look at it because it was so pretty, and like, in a bigger house I would absolutely use this setup because it's such a gorgeous piece, and like the curtains for the windows, everything is just so finely detailed. See, here's me trying to fit a cauldron in still and just couldn't make it work. So, and I was trying to figure out what I was gonna do with that little like nook area with the stained glass windows. I wasn't really sure. I kind of thought about making like, I don't know if you saw earlier, but I had put one of those like snug corner couch areas in there, but I ended up scrapping that because like it just didn't make sense to have it there when I couldn't put like a couch or a coffee table or anything like that with the stairs being right there. So I ended up putting the new desk from Realm of Magic there instead with the wand case on it. And that desk is pretty neat actually. It's super detailed, but I don't know if you can see, it has like a little blue orb of light that it kind of projects above the desk, if you can see it at any point. It's really cool. I'm not sure why they decided to do that because the light doesn't do anything, it's just kind of there, and so like it looks really cool and all like magical and ooh and ah, but like it's just such a interesting design choice because they've never done anything like that as far as The Sims 4 goes, but it's definitely cute. So I'm going through and adding all these little like cabinets and cubbies that have all these apothecary, you know, vials of potions and ingredients and all that kind of stuff around the desk area just to make it look a little bit more like that's where a witch would maybe study and experiment and, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. So I swapped out that table sadly and went for a round one, and my thinking with this table was that my sim was gonna have a club or form a club, and I was going to call it the Coven. I know, I'm so unique with my ideas. But then I was like, wouldn't it be cool to have the Coven come over and have their little coven meetings around a nice little round table like that. Like, that was my thinking behind the whole thing. And I know it's probably like the most ridiculous thing anyone's ever heard, but I loved the idea. And I still had room for a nice couch and a coffee table and a couple of chairs next to it. And I did, like I said earlier, I did playtest this with my sim. You can navigate between the couch, the chairs, that dining setup, into the kitchen, around the desk, past the stairs, down that skinny hallway. Like, you can walk everywhere in this house, despite how crowded it may seem. So don't let all of the clutter and all that stuff fool you. Sims are definitely more than capable of navigating their way around this house, especially if you have, you know, guests over, more than one sim in the house. You definitely they can get around. It's not a problem. Just make sure you move that little table under the stairs forward, and they'll be able to go everywhere. I don't know why that's a thing. That was really bothering me. I was like, how does that, whatever. It doesn't make any sense, but okay, Sims, I see you. So right now I'm just kind of looking at the downstairs area, seeing if there's anything I want to change or add. Figuring out my lighting situation. A good way to figure out your lighting, if it's good enough, is to switch into night mode and see if there's any like dark corners that become present when it's dark outside and you only have the lights and you don't have the daylight coming through the windows to factor in some of that light. So I'm kind of just going through and adding in some final details and looking at the lighting. I added a nice little tea infuser into the kitchen. It's white too, of course, following the white theme. And then I'm just adding in some nice little plants here and there for some decor. A coat rack by the door. I think I put a thermostat right beside the door as well. And then just putting some nice little welcome mats at each of the doors there. And yeah, so that's the pretty much like the whole bottom floor of this house. And then you can see I switched it to night mode here, and you can see where all of the little dark corners of the house end up appearing. And I didn't mind it. Like, it kind of made it feel a little bit more, not rustic, that's not the word, but a little bit more like witchy, having it not totally bright, at least in the nighttime hours, I guess. But I'm just switching some of the light fixtures, and I absolutely hate this. I wish The Sims would make it so that you can change, you know, the tone of your lighting and the brightness of your lighting right from build mode, because as it is now, you have to go into live mode to be able to change, you know, if you want lighting to be more blue or more white or more yellow or more warm. Like, it's such a pain, because then if you're just doing build mode and you don't actually have a sim, you have to exit build mode, go make a sim, and then bring them onto that lot. Like, it's such a process just to be able to change how lighting looks. And like, it's not that big of a deal because I was making a sim anyways, but it was just like, you can't, like, this looks so weird having this really, really yellow tone lighting just in that area, and then it's like not in the rest. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks bizarre. So I wish The Sims would add it into the game where we can edit our lighting right from build mode, but whatever. Okay, so anyways, looking at the upstairs now and just kind of figuring out what I want to do with it. That perfectly octagonal room there is going to be the bathroom, and the rest of the room is going to be a bedroom. So, oh my god, I thought I was, see, typical me, like, go to work upstairs, end up right back outside building and adding stuff. So, oh lord. Okay, so adding some of these flower boxes just to these two really big circular windows, just because I thought those were really good spots for some flower boxes. And again, trying to make this little thing that came with I don't even know what you'd call that. It's just like it looks like a little like balcony thing, but I was trying to make that work and it just didn't work anywhere. And then I was trying to put one of these little roof accent pieces on here, and it looked strange. Like, maybe if that part of the house was bigger, it would look better, but it just kind of overtook the whole thing and it looked strange. And then this is, I wish I wouldn't have done this. Okay, so I went through And I changed all the color scheme for the railings, the spandrels, the columns. I changed them all to this black and white color. I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I did this, because later I ended up, like when I was actually playing with my sim, I ended up going back and changing it back to what it was before. And I changed the roof trims from that grayish kind of color to this white as well. And I wish I wouldn't have, because the green and the black looked so much better. And I don't know why at the time I liked this more, because I ended up switching it back. And for some reason when I was doing all that, it deleted my front door as well. So I had to put that back. But this is another one of the things that, you know, this is in the build per this video, and it is on the gallery this way, but like I said, when I was actually playing with my sim, I changed it back to the black and kind of green tone columns and spandrels and railings and all that stuff, and uploaded this build version 2. So, and that build has the cauldron area, like, go check it out, go see it for yourself, check it out on my gallery, see which one you like better. I personally like the version 2 of it better, and I know that's weird to say considering I did a build video of this, but like, I don't know why at the time I liked the white on everything better. I don't know why at the time I didn't just like think of the addition for the cauldron, like, you know, it is what it is. It's still a great build. I think it's not very expensive as far as like simoleons in the game. I think it came to just below 50,000 simoleons, so it's by no means a starter home, but like you can, you know, free real estate cheat it if you want, use the other money cheats if you want to put your sim in this house right away, like whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, like, check it out. Check out both versions if you want to see the difference between the two. I'm partial to version 2. It's the one I'm currently playing in, and I just like it so much better. But oh my god, can we talk about this stained glass bed? Holy, I wasn't even like paying attention to what was happening. Anyways, stained glass bed. Look at this bed. It is so beautiful. Look at those colors. It's like 4-poster. It has its own stained glass roof, for God's sake. Like, it is one of the prettiest things I've seen in this game, and I love it so stinking much. Okay, so, as far as this room as a whole goes, because the lower level of this house was so, like, bright and clean and white and crisp, I wanted the upstairs to be a little bit more dark and heavy and dramatic, just to go, like, the total opposite side of the spectrum with it. So everything's a little bit darker, it's a little bit more gray, it's a little bit more deep. It still has those vibrant purples and everything in it from the stained glass windows. We tie that in with the bed, and so I just wanted to go a little bit different with the upstairs part of this build, particularly the bedroom. So yeah, I'm just kind of furnishing this bedroom. I love that carpet too, it's so pretty. Like, literally anything purple, like, just sign me up. And this planter was perfect too because it had all of the same tones as the windows and everything else, so I popped that in there. That new freestanding mirror is gorgeous. These floating crystal lights are gorgeous. That vintage looking clock goes in really well. Like, all of this is just, I love it. And of course, like, I was gonna use those floating crystal lights, but then I remembered that The Sims 4 has these stained glass lamps. And I was like, well, yeah, stained glass. The whole, like, this build should just be called Stained Glass AF, because that's 100% what this is. And I was gonna throw the new bassinet in from Realm of Magic because it's just so cute and so pretty and adorable, but I was like, hold the phone. My sim doesn't have a baby yet, and isn't gonna have a baby for a while. Like, let's not jump the gun here. We'll put it in later, but for now, no. Plus, it just would have, like, taken up a bunch of room that we didn't, frankly, have. So yeah, I switched it to night mode just to see what we've got for a lighting situation in this room, just chucking in some other extra details. I love those pictures on the wall. Those are actually from vampires, but like I said, the vampire pack ties in really well with the Realm of Magic pack. And I don't know if I mentioned, but there are these planter boxes out here because with the new magic stuff, you can grow ingredients and things like that for your potion making, so I thought it would make sense to have those planter boxes back there for your spellcasters to grow their own potion ingredients, and that's exactly what I use them for, is to grow a plethora of ingredients for my Sims potions. So yeah, that's kind of the bedroom done, so we move on to the bathroom here, and there's a new tile wall that came with Realm of Magic that we use, and then I use floor tile from the Vampires pack. Again, just combining the two because they seem to go really well together. And this is this is another thing that I ended up changing, was the whole color palette of this room. Like, so right now it's kind of that blue and gold kind of color scheme. I do end up changing it. I believe right now it's more of like a white, black, and gold instead of a blue, gold, and black kind of thing. And I did really want to use this shower from Realm of Magic, but with the shape of this like octagonal bathroom, it looked strange. So I ended up switching it to a tub shower combo, again from Vampires, because it just fits so well. And then that's kind of when the color scheme of this room changes a little bit, because I changed the tub to like a white and gold, and then I have to change the toilet, and then I have to change the sink, which, by the way, that sink is the most extra sink I've ever seen in this game. Like, it's like a peacock, and the whole back of it is like gold feathers, and it's really pretty until you turn the tap on and you realize that the peacock is kind of vomiting water, which is, you know, it's pretty, but at the same time it's kind of weird, but like, whatever. We'll keep it. So that's the bathroom, and then I'm kind of just like going around, checking everything out, seeing if there's anything else I want to add as far as final details and things like that go. I did add a litter box and a cat food dish because for me specifically, my sim, I wanted to give her a pet raccoon because pet raccoon, she's a witch. Like, how do you even have a better pet for a witch than a pet raccoon? So, and the raccoons honestly behave like cats, so they just have like a different coat pattern that makes them look like raccoons, but still. And I did put this clothesline and wash tub in the build as well, but like, I think the clothesline itself is broken right now in the game because I had my sim hang freshly washed clothes on it and they just like would not dry. They stayed soaked on the line, dripping, for actual seasons, not days, seasons. And so I think that's broken and they should fix that. So just keep that in mind if you do put this, that I don't know if the clothesline actually works right now, but I mean, it's up to you. Keep it, don't keep it, whatever. You do you. That's just an issue I had. And again, trying to make this cauldron work. I wish I would have just thought of the addition sooner. But yeah, just kind of taking a look at everything, making sure everything's all good. We get into the screenshots here right away, I believe. I did change the foundation to kind of match the chimney a little bit better, to match that kind of like bricky stone pattern that's in the chimney. And I like that a lot better as well. But here we are, we get into the screenshots here. But that is the final build, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and me chattering your ear off for like 38 straight minutes. If you like the build, I will leave my origin name linked down in the description box. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video.